My name is Nick Carnahan. I'm with Galbraith Carnahan Architects. And
Joe Galbraith, also with Galbraith Carnahan Architects.
so we're here today to show and share a story about the move of a log cabin and our new office. You know, some things, sometimes things just align just perfectly in life. And, you know, it's similar to this logo where GCA fits perfectly into a log cabin. That's sort of how this story goes.
There was an article in the Journal Sentinel about the project, and he, I think, made a sort of off-the-cuff comments that he would donate the cabin to anybody that would take it. And, you know, I read that and thought, well, that's interesting. So, and I live, you know, within a mile of the site, so I rode my bike over there with my son, and we got a tape measure. We started measuring the building. Nobody was around, so no questions were asked. So we measure the building, and then we go back to the office and put it in the computer. And like, would this actually fit on the site that we own, just a mile away? And the answer was yes, it does. I mean, more or less, once you consider setbacks and constructability, we had probably about 6 inches of play there. So once we figured out, okay, this will fit, then Vic gave the developer a call Monday morning, I think.
Yeah,
So we're taking you up on it.
we'd be willing to take you up on your offer. We've got a site, you know, within a mile of where your cabin is at. And so then we get to the move. It was the moving company was a family-run business. They're very nice people.
Not great communicators.
Not great at communication. And so we had a few moves scheduled and rescheduled until the night of March 13th, 2019, when we finally got underway. And so the route here is moving from number 2, past the original location at number 1, past our current office at number 3 to the next resting place of the cabin at site number 4. About 10:30 at night, you can see it's raining a little bit. So this was in the middle of one of these bomb cyclone events that we've had. But it got off the site and headed south. Here it is at its original location. So making the turn from Wauwatosa onto North Avenue. Making that final turn here, we had to disconnect some of the stoplight overhangs. They loosened the nuts and swung them out of the way. And then as soon as the cabin came through, they put them back into place.
Yeah, they didn't close down the entire road. They just did a rolling closure. So we had a couple squad cars in front of it, a couple behind it, and then just sort of moved down the street.
They had someone from the Wauwatosa Forestry Department who was ahead of the cabin in a bucket. And so they, rather than go through and butcher all the trees before the move, they waited until the cabin got there and then kind of surgically trimmed any of the branches that were going to cause a problem.
They had one section right near the Bel Air restaurant where they had to get the power company to raise the power lines, which was interesting because that person was just out in a bucket truck with a stick holding the power lines in the rain, yeah, higher than the roof of the building as it passed through.
And then this was sort of the most nerve-wracking moment in the move for us, where the cabin was on our site. It was about to really become our problem. Up until this point, it was just kind of entertaining. But here, just some weird visual trick. The cabin looked way too big for the basement we poured. And we had surveyed the thing. And we had, you know, we were certain that the math was right, but visually it just did not look like it was there. So about 2 in the morning, they backed it up over the curb, across the gravel, and onto those wooden trestles. And then the next morning, it was parked on top of the basement. It actually did fit perfectly. But we took this vision of, you know, what could have been, and made it into a reality. In preservation, I think, this one was kind of unique and it had been moved before, but I feel like there's always could be like a last ditch effort to preserve something by moving it. Like if you've kind of exhausted all other avenues available to you, it looks complicated, but it actually wasn't that difficult. I think the hardest part was getting all those stars to align of somebody that was willing to take it, an available site, and a developer who was, willing to work with us and donate